Tuesday, November 10th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
Over Skype, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, we actually played some MMORPGs. We talk about the Dungeons and Dragons online. Let's do this. Left 4 Dead's coming.
Oh, yeah. You know what, actually? I had played the demo on the PC.
I'm avoiding playing the demo. I preloaded, but I'm not playing the demo.
There's no reason not to play the demo.
You know why I'm not playing the demo? I don't have time. I'm doing other stuff. I'm just going to have this glorious day when the game actually comes out.
It's like a 30-second demo, and it doesn't actually have, remember how the original, usually when you play Left 4 Dead campaign, there's it builds up to a climax.
Yep.
This is it builds up to a sort of, okay, you pulled the switch moment, and that's it.
Well, because they don't even need it. This is not a demo that's going to sell the game. No one's going to buy the game who wasn't going to otherwise with the demo. The demo is just...
Yeah.
Good job, Captain. Captain Skype. I'm not cutting this out, so go on.
So I played the demo on the PC, but I'm downloading the demo on the 360 just because, it's surprising. I don't realize it, but how many, you see people making cake is a lie jokes. A lot of those people played that Portal on the wrong machine.
Good God. So one of my coworkers today, right? He comes into our little office because I have a corner office now, actually a nice corner office with windows. And of course they look out at 41st Street. It's second place. But he comes in, he's like, man, I was playing this game. You guys gotta try it. It's called Portal. And so
dude, welcome to 2 years ago.
He's like, so it's about this person, right? And you wake up in a lab and you have this gun that shoots 2 portals and you gotta bust your way out, and there's this funny computer voice and there's all this stuff written on the walls. You're supposed to get cake at the end, but the cake is a lie. And I just looked at him the whole time. It reminded me of that Penny Arcade where Gabe's like, man, I just found this game, Counter-Strike. There's some kind of map. What is it, Dusp? Dusker? I don't know. But I was just, and he's like, yeah, I'm playing on my Xbox right now. It's totally awesome. And even the smart coworkers who play video games, they all play
on the Xbox.
They all play Left 4 Dead on the stupid Xbox. They're like, you want to play? And I'm like, on the Xbox? Is that even really a game?
Yeah, I'm going to try the demo on the Xbox. Of course, I've already got it on the PC preloaded, but I'll try to Xbox One and see how it goes, just to see what the experience is of these other people are having. But yeah, if something's on Steam, why would you ever... I mean, the only games I would get on the Xbox are either A, games not available on Steam, or B, games that are optimally played with gamepads on a large screen.
Like Castle Crashers, that you might as well get that on the Xbox. You know
Actually, what? I wish that Trine game was on the Xbox instead of on the PC. I'm glad I didn't buy it on the PC yet, because I'm still holding out hope that it shows up on something else.
Yep, Bionic Commando would have been good on the Xbox had I had an Xbox.
Yeah, actually, this new Excitebike game just came out for the Wii, and... but I'm not buying it yet because I'm not buying anything because I have no monies.
No monies. I have plenty of monies.
You want to buy me some Excitebike?
Not particularly. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my monies other than do everything I want to do because I don't want to,
You can buy the apartment directly under my apartment.
On this show lately, we've been talking a lot about all this meta stuff before the show, and I'm trying to at least hold off a little bit because Scott's got his apartment all worked out and it's nice, but... dude I'm trying to buy a house from seems to have skipped town and things are getting crazy and I think I'm going to have to bail on it. You're not buying the house from
him. You're buying the house from the bank.
No, I'm not. The bank doesn't own it yet. It's so complicated what's going on. Apparently, the bank wants to sell it to me desperately, but they can't. They can't until they foreclose on the dude who disappeared. But foreclosing costs so much money and is such a pain in the ass and it's going to take so long that the bank's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. And my lawyer's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, damn it.
Police after the guy.
So get this. I start looking at other houses in Beacon.
Can't they just take the house? Yoink. The guy's not here. Abandonment. Yoink.
No, it takes a while. Foreclosure takes a long time. Remember our friends, landlords and everyone talking about how hard it is to actually evict someone? So even worse, I find 5 other houses that are even nicer than this one, and a few of them are McMansions, and they're all, pretty reasonably priced, under $500K. So I go to the realtor and I'm like, yeah, can I see these 4 houses? And she's like, One of those is an abandoned foreclosure. The other 3 are short sales that are pretty much in the same boat that the house you're trying to buy now is.
Just that guy skipped town.
I'm like, are there any non-foreclosure short sale houses in Beacon? And she's like, not really. Except this one.
Everyone who can afford their house is just living in it going,
Pretty much, yeah, because the market's so bad that no one's selling.
What about those houses that we looked at before, like the one around the corner, or the one that just like the one around the corner on the other side of town?
all the crazy like the big McMansions are still for sale. But as much as I'd like to live in one of those things, I can't really justify just 2 people living in like a 6,000 square foot house. And while I can afford the mortgage... Did you see that picture
someone posted in the forum of someone that Hampton's mansion? The most that's like the most like expansive residential property in the country, I think, or perhaps the world. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know what to do at this point.
Some Jew owns it.
Because I'll hold on and see what my bonuses are, but yeah, so I'm still in this house right now.
So back in the day, there was this Warcraft 3 mod. You know, my brother actually played a lot of Warcraft 3. I didn't, but I watched him a bit, you know, and...
I was never good at Warcraft 3. I
was never good at any RTSs beyond Warcraft 1, you know.
Yeah,
but
you know what? You saying never good is kind of a misnomer, because that's like saying I was never good at the bagpipes. You were terrible at RTSs. I've seen you play RTSs.
Yeah, I suck. So... But Warcraft 3 had an expansive mod community, and one of the most popular mods was what people called Dota, which is Defense of the Ancients.
It was basically a tower defense game.
Well, it was somewhat of a tower defense game, but not really, because you didn't actually like build the towers or control the towers. What you did is you controlled one guy. It was like you're playing an RTS, but you're one guy. But that one guy has a lot of different stuff he can do. You know, it's like, imagine, you know, it's sort of like, remember in Command & Conquer, there was the Tanya unit that could like, you know, it was the super commando chick.
That was, I believe, Red Alert.
Yeah, she was totally awesome, right?
Yeah, I remember when Red Alert came out, I was like, man, this game's kind of new school.
Or in StarCraft, there was the Ghost unit, right? Similar. It was basically, Defense of the Ancients is basically, there's a tower defense game going on, right? But you are just one guy, and the tower defense game is automatic. And you got to level up this guy and also attack the other, you know, properly. And this one guy can do like 10 times as more things and is like way more powerful than that Tanya unit. You know, and you're controlling it in an RTS fashion. It's, you know, you attack, retreat, attack on the left, attack on the right, use this ability, use that ability, you know, buy this item, you know, that sort of thing. So that game was pretty popular back in the day, and the guys who made it have a new game coming called Towers of Newerth. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but it's
I saw people in the forum giving out the demo keys or the beta keys.
They're beta keys, yeah. I got one, and I played it last night, and I'm sort of unsure about this game. It's like, okay, it is a game of leveling up, and I can see with my eyeballs some rock, paper, scissors elements to it. And it's incredibly suspicious. Like, you could.
Well,
you
remember, all games have those elements. I mean,
I know, but
Wars...
it's like you look at this game on the surface from our perspective, and you're like, this is not looking like a good game to me. This is got every hallmark of a bad game, right? But I actually played it, and I played it a couple times and learned how to play and learned how it works. And it was actually like an incredibly, at least that instance of playing was incredibly good. Like, at first, we were getting crushed. It was 2 versus 2. We were getting crushed. And then somehow we like pulled it out in the end in dramatic fashion. It was incredibly close, and we had a big comeback. And it was like, whoa, there's something going on in this game, even though it has all these hallmarks of bad game.
Well, remember,
good game happened. I don't know where it came from.
Remember also, even ostensibly bad games can be good in the sense that they're made in such a way that they're fun, regardless of how bad they actually are. I mean,
no. So I'm gonna play it a few more times to be sure. Probably beginning after when we're done with this show. But if you are interested in this kind of game, you should come to the forum.frontrecruit.com or elsewhere, and you should get beta keys for Heroes of Newerth. And then if you pay $30, only $30, you can basically get the full game, you know, with a pre-order.
So. Oh God. So. If you pre-purchase Left 4 Dead 2, you know what you get? You get the hat that the military guy wore in the original Left 4 Dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were the one who pre-purchased, so do you get the hat, or do I also get the hat?
I did not yet finish that sentence.
Oh.
You get the hat for your Team Fortress 2 guy.
Oh.
Get a special hat in Team Fortress 2.
So they're not mailing you a hat.
So if I go play Team Fortress 2 right now, I can put on that hat and wear it around the game while I'm playing.
Who gives a shit?
I have a feeling that, I don't know, I'm worried because they've already gotten so much leveling and so much achievement, like game-affecting stuff in Team Fortress 2, and I'm worried that in the long run, any, like, Valve games are going to start having this stuff all over the place.
I think that the world has realized something, right? You know how we look at things like fake medicine? We're like, these assholes, they're making all this money off fake medicine, those bastards, they can go to hell and die, right? But look at what's going on, like Zynga and Valve and World of Warcraft and all these other companies out there. There are a lot of them. Those aren't even the worst offenders, right? And Gaia Online, right? They're basically taking people's money in exchange for nothing, just like a hat, a virtual hat. On the Xbox, right? There was a thing I could have gotten like a Giants, New York Giants, jersey for my avatar, but they wanted to charge me real American dollars for that. So I'm like, fuck no. Why would I spend money on that? If it was free, sure.
But at the same time, it works.
Or like even 1 penny is not worth it. Yet, all these people are making money by selling nothing. I think either A, we have to decide that that's morally offensive, almost as morally offensive as fake medicine, and that we shouldn't do it. And then we should
I don't think that, because it's definitely...
Or B, we should start selling fake shit so we can get some fucking money.
Now, the problem with that is that we're getting very close, I think, to a glut, and then there's going to be a decline.
You think there's going to be a decline? You don't think that using basic psychology to just get people to fork over real money for virtual goods will always work?
Not always in a vacuum, because it's not just... Usually, most of the people who buy this stuff, they get it...
work better in the foreseeable future?
They get it within the context of some other thing that they're paying for that they actually, for whatever reason, enjoy. Now, that might be a thing
you have to make the thing that they enjoy and then sell them the virtual goods in it. That's how it works.
But not only that, some people only actually... I mean, some people do it for the prestige. Like the people who had those badges in NS back in the day. The people who get this TF2 hat or whatever.
Are you going to use the black armor in
all the
NS
time. But that is
so
proving...
you fall for it too.
Thing is, I would have paid the $40 anyway, because that is basically... I remember when I donated money to Obama's primary campaign?
You want to hear a somewhat surprising but also not surprising thing? Something like 95%
Old
of
news.
the NS2 pre-orders are the $40 one, and almost nobody bought the $20 one.
But kind of like how I donated money to Obama's primary, just because it was like, all right, I'm basically putting my money in the lottery that maybe something cool will happen. It was the same thing with NS2. It's like, all right, my extra $20.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you? I mean,
you got elected.
Won.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anything cool happen?
Yeah, stuff's happening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
I don't want to get into politics. Mr. doesn't pay attention, doesn't know anything about what's going on in the world at all. But that aside,
things aren't exactly...
Paying my extra $20 to NS is basically me saying, look, if there's even a tiny chance of NS2 happening, I have to give them money to make sure that chance goes up by a tiny %.
Yeah, but the black armor part is...
Yeah, well, the black armor was just a nice thing. If it had been, say, I don't know...
So the black armor is nice, but the Team Fortress hat is not nice?
Because I don't care about... Team Fortress 2... is not going to be made better or worse by that, and Left 4 Dead is coming out regardless of whether or not I get that hat.
So what they should have done is they should have let you use Team Fortress 2 guys in Left 4 Dead. So it's like, I'll pick engineer to play Left 4 Dead and set up a turret.
Oh my god, I might
say
pay
all the same funny things that they always do.
I might pay a small amount of money. We should just make that a mod.
Dude.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Just
all.
It's
heavy
already
weapons
done.
guy.
All you have to do is put the Team Fortress, pick 4 of them and put them in Left 4 Dead and don't change anything in Left 4 Dead except for that.
But I want to even have their powers and just have heavy weapons guys standing there. Yeah,
exactly. I'm saying it'll be exactly the same as it'll feel like you're playing Team Fortress 2. Only the map and the objectives and the bad guys will be, Left 4 Dead. So it'll be like, oh, it's a witch. Thing is, you need some voice acting because you need like the heavy to be like, oh, witch, do not go scare her.
That's the best you could do.
I am not good at Russian accent. Oh, so maybe we should do some news. So, Super Mario Brothers Wii, it's coming out. You know how I know it's coming out? Because I walked
Because
past the
the
Nintendo
release
store
date
the
has
other day.
been out for a while, and like all the news is talking about how it's gonna
Well,
be.
no, but I mean, I walked past the Nintendo store the other day,
Yeah.
and it was just all the windows had like gigantic Mario in them. Like it was just the craziest Mario setup ever. It was just
Well, it's gonna have
totally
the
Mario.
it's in that
Mario.
red case, and they're making a lot of people are making a big deal about the red case, and Reggie was going on and on about it. This game's gonna sell more than Modern Warfare.
It's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be a close race, I think.
Yeah.
How about that Modern Warfare game? Like, I barely even heard of that game, and then suddenly I just keep seeing people talk about it a little bit.
Well,
And
one,
it's exploded suddenly. It's like it's fucking like taking over the world.
I saw it on the horizon for a long time because there was all this weird meta news about it,
I
and
saw
that
people going MW2, and I was like, is MechWarrior 2 making a comeback?
yeah. But that kind of culminated in the fact that if you buy the bonus box, it comes with a bust of some dude's face
Who the hell wants it?
and an actual night vision goggle set. Like for reals.
Oh.
Like actual
How much? Wait, how much is that set there?
over $150.
How much is a night vision goggle?
I have no idea, but it's only $90 more than buying the game by itself, and it comes with this guy's face and night vision goggles. And I watched a video.
If night vision goggles are that cheap, I should just go get some.
They are. Well, I watched. The thing is, they're kind of ungainly. But I watched Bleep Bloop of all people. They had they didn't review the game. They're like whatever on the game, but they reviewed the night vision goggles. And he like goes into the closet and he's like, I see a broom and stuff. They work.
That's perfect. I can watch that after.
Yeah, so night vision goggles.
The bust of the guy's head.
I don't even. The bust of the guy's head is like. I think it's to hold the night vision goggles when you're not wearing them.
Oh, that makes sense.
But it's kind of a silly.
So this MW2, this is a Call of Duty game, right?
Yeah, it's like the sequel to MW1, which was Call of Duty 4. I don't even know. Those games were so under my radar that I basically.
I know it's so
them.
weird. It's like everyone was playing Quake, Counter Strike, Tribes, all those Unreal Tournament, right? All these the real FPSs. Yeah, I said it. And then it's sort of like they started coming out with these war FPSs for like the PlayStation 1 era. They came up with like Call of Duty or what were some of the other ones like Men at War. I don't even know. I'm just making up names.
Men at War.
There was like it seemed like there were a whole bunch of like just generic war FPSs that were coming out of the PlayStation 2.
Does Wolfenstein count? Castle
No.
Wolfenstein?
No.
It's a war.
Yeah, I guess. The Xbox 360. They kept coming out with a whole bunch of these generic war FPSs, one after the other, and they just kept coming out with them and coming out with them. And I don't recall them really ever being that popular. Like I didn't see a lot of people playing them or talking about them. But it's like just more recently, like they've just like the popularity of these things has gone like exponentially up. And it's like, where the hell did these things come from? It's like, did all like the Halo people switch over to them or something? It's like, I don't know.
But the thing about this is, one, I wonder what's going to happen to release dates in the future because apparently GameStop just started selling the game early.
I think they said that it was on purpose.
They admitted straight up. They said it was on purpose, and they talked to Activision about it, and they were doing it because other retailers in the same areas had already started selling it earlier. And
yeah, well, I think that's because if you're a tiny retailer, right? Like, let's say you're Dragon's Den. You could order like 5 copies of it, sell them early, get some business.
Not only that, if I were them,
you would not have otherwise gotten.
I would sell them early for more money.
Oh, of course.
I'd be like, extra $50, get it today.
Yeah, of course. They would totally do that.
But the thing is,
I think
release dates only matter now for physical media distribution. In Steam, Left 4 Dead just activates at the same time for everyone in the world at the same time, and that's it. There's none of this BS.
No, but I think what it is that with physical media distribution, basically you just have to accept the fact that if you send product to a retailer, they can sell it immediately. And
Well,
it's only like the very large and punishable retailers like Best Buy that you're actually going to be able to like put a leash on them and force them to do what you want.
No. I think there's another problem there. The bigger a retailer is for your business, the more clout they have to say, yeah, we sold it early. What, you're not going to ship us your next game?
It depends on what you're selling, right? Because look, with Apple, it's the exact opposite. Apple basically says if you sell iPods, you will not discount them 1 penny. In fact, you will not discount any Apple product even 1 penny ever under any circumstances. Even when they're doing like clearance, we're going out of business at Circuit City, the iPods are the same price because if Apple has everyone by the goddamn balls. So it just depends on who you are, how much you can push them around or not.
But look, we're getting to the point to where until the collapse of physical media is complete, and at that point, Walmart's going to be pretty much the sole retailer of anything like that, GameStop, I think, still has enough clout to say, fuck you.
Yeah, but I think also, in a way, it's sort of like, GameStop does have the clout because, GameStop makes a lot of money for the publishers. But at the same time, right, GameStop also really needed it because it's like they're losing to Amazon, and there's a lot of pressure coming down on them.
Well, at the same time,
give them a slight advantage.
At the same time, yet again, GameStop, because they're basically pawn shops at this point, they don't even need the first runs anymore. People will buy stuff on Amazon anyway, and they should just, if they ever get new stuff, sell it early because that's the only way they'll sell it, and just give the big flying finger to everyone. And when people buy stuff on Amazon, they'll sell it back to GameStop, and then they can sell it in the cycle repeats.
No, because Amazon's doing sellbacks now, so it's like.
Well, see, the thing is,
it's Amazon tight for them.
No, Amazon sellback.
Best Buy was starting to do used games in some places too. So
Amazon sellback only works for the people with credit cards. The primary demographic of sellbacks is punk kids with no credit card. Of course,
I know.
Once we get to the point of punk kids having a credit card equivalent, entire spheres of the economy will disappear overnight.
Yeah, I remember one gigantic. Kids. The major limitation of kids buying things is not that they are completely broke because they got money. They don't have a lot, but they got money. They got enough to buy a video game once in a while, right? The thing is A, they don't have a credit card, and B, they don't have a car. So even they can't buy anything unless it's in a physical store or their parents buy it for them, which is right? Not going to happen. And B, even if they got the money and they want to spend it, they have to wait for their parents to take them to the store. Even today in this modern world, unless your parents are totally awesome, So even if you give your kid one of those kids' credit cards that I discovered, it's like it's not enough. They gotta be able to get there or to get the stuff or whatever. So
okay. Update here. I did some investigation. I found another link, a better link that I'll use for my news link. The night vision goggles that come with the game are made by and suspiciously similar to the same company that makes some crappy like Cyclops toy that's $50 at Toys R Us.
And that Cyclops toy is a night vision goggle thing?
Yep. And I was looking online for like $200, you can get actual like Soviet military grade like night vision.
But I don't want shitty Soviet ones. I want US ones or something.
For under $500, you can get badass night vision.
I want the Counter-Strike kind of ones where everything's green.
They're all like that because green is the color that's the most sensitive to our eyes, basically.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes.
You can also detect if someone's using night vision pretty easily because they just, at least this kind of night vision is active.
You use a flashbang and they go, fuck.
No, because this is the kind that illuminates the area with IR and then has a camera. So if you just look for IR, you'll see like this basically a flashlight coming out of the dude's face.
You think the U.S. military's figured out something better than that by now?
You basically have to. There's either active night vision or there's passive night vision. And passive night vision, as far as I know, is not that great because you basically have to rely on the extant light in some form. Doesn't matter because most militaries in the world, people don't even have the Toys R Us night vision. Sadly, that's very true.
Yeah, very sad. Okay.
But this modern warfare thing, really, look what's happening here. I've realized it all. These kids who grew up playing the console FPSs are going through the same evolution that the computer FPSs went through. We started with, after Doom and everything.
2D crappy Wolfenstein 3D.
After we got past the initial steps, what was popular at first? It was the FPSs that were like Quake deathmatchy kind of stuff, like the original Halo, like that, or like GoldenEye, that kind of stuff that they were playing. And then as it moved on, they started getting more and more about the serious business, war, realistic kind of things. All these World War II, whatever. That's basically when we found out about Action Quake and Counter-Strike. And I guess the next step is they're going to move into the Tribesy area.
Yeah, I don't see that happening because the Tribesy area games are far too complex to even do with the Xbox.
They'll have to, because while the games are pretty bad, all things considered, still, just because of the sheer limitation of the controllers, eventually these kids are gonna realize the limitations and get sick of playing on the console.
One would hope.
I gotta hope.
A lot of confidence.
That's the only hope I've got left, because NS2 and a little bit of Left 4 Dead 2 are some of the last games on the horizon that I care about at all.
I think we'll be all right.
There'll
be enough games for us to play and enough people playing them that we will be safe.
It's a poor simulacrum, but there's nothing that can replace Tribes 2.
Nope, not really.
Nothing, not even Tribes 2. It's too much of a pain in the ass to play it anywhere.
Yeah. There's a remake of MechWarrior 2 out there that I'm gonna, the real MW2.
Yeah. But anyway, things of the day. So Emily and Alex work for Muse Games, and we had the trailer for their new game, Guns of Icarus, and it's finally actually out. So it's my thing of the day. For one, you can just buy it and play the demo. But two, I bitched to Alex because there was a feature that was sorely lacking that only, as far as I can tell, me and Scott Johnson care about.
No, a lot of people care about
the inverted mouse. So I played the demo and I was like, Alex, there's no inverted mouse. I can't buy this game. And Alex was like, damn it. And then 2 days later, he's like, I coded your stupid inverted mouse. And Scott Johnson and I were like...
it's a big, if checkbox, -1.
Yeah, you had to do a little bit. It was more that it wasn't trivial.
It's not hard.
Anyway. No, not hard and non-trivial are two entirely different things.
Anyway.
But he did it. The game's like $8, and I bought it because it was fun, and...
It's really hard.
Yeah. Well, the thing, you got to play it with actual other people.
If you try to play it alone, you're only going to beat one level.
Yeah.
And if you need other people to get more than one level.
But playing it with other people, like with some voice chat, I'm feeling this confluence. Like, it's a proof of concept for a kind of game. Like, if you go to the next step with this game, it's like... You've got almost a tower defense.
If I was them, what I would do is I would work on a new game, but I would keep polishing this one because with enough polish, it could be something good.
It's so close to like
continuous polish also gives more incentive for people to pay for it as well because knowing that they're gonna get more polish in the future,
It's just, I'll admit, like, honestly, and this isn't just me saying it because, we know the people who made the game. It's different from a lot of games out there. And anything that's different makes me very happy, unless it's different in a bad way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is unique. All right. So there's the Sun Microsystems, they do a lot of open source stuff, actually, a ton of it. And one thing that they did ways back that I forgot the name of, then remembered the name of, then forgot the name of, then remembered the name of, then lost, then found again, is a thing called Project Darkstar. And basically, Sun made this server. It's just sort of a server that you can use as a server for any multiplayer online game. So if you want to make a multiplayer online game and need a server, you can use Project Darkstar. And it's like, making an MMO, use this. Making a Counter-Strike, use this. And it's, I never actually used it. But what I have found here is Lab 5562, Project Snowman, developing a 3D multiplayer game using Project Darkstar. And this is a 7-step tutorial that from start to finish, you will make a multiplayer online game in Project Darkstar. So, and it's all free stuff here. So, and this tells you everything and gives you absolutely everything you need. And you don't need any, you don't need spend any money. You don't need to, know anything about, programming, but some Java would help you out quite a bit. and you can follow these instructions. It takes about, let's see, it tells you that it takes about 2 hours, but who knows how long, that may vary. And you can make a multiplayer 3D online game. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to try it out so I can learn and see if this engine is any good or not compared to the competition.
So, very briefly, the Meta Minute, just to point out, Scott's coming in over Skype.
Meta Minute, I forgot.
Scott's coming in over Skype. We're totally fast and loose. We're not editing like we normally do at all. Geeknights is almost fast karate at this point. We'll be back to normal.
Slow karate, I think.
We'll be back to normal.
It's slow Aikido.
It's space karate. It's like regular karate, but it's half as powerful.
Yeah.
You need like 1,000 regular karates to get one space karate. Or no, the opposite of that, in fact.
Yeah.
Anyway, the only thing I want to point out is that one, Kineticon next summer. We're the heads of panels. Panel registration is open. If you have a panel and you want to submit it for consideration, send us your panel. We're looking for panels other than anime panels, particularly gaming and other cool stuff.
Anime is also good, though. We do need some animes and mangas. Mangas are better. If you got some mangas, bring that on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also, do you want to announce the other thing about Kineticon, or you would hold back?
We got to hold back because I got to show you all the details. We had to give it it's not actually a silly name, but it looks like a silly name if you don't know the history of Connecticut.
Yeah. Anyway, the previous weekend we were at ZenkaiCon. A good time was had. If you discovered us at ZenkaiCon, hello.
Yep, I'd recommend listening to other episodes from, I don't know, a month ago or earlier, because we're in this weird transitional state right now where we move all our stuff around. So Geeknights is almost on hiatus.
Yes, the current book club selection is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Only the original, none of the, prequels or sequels or any other books other than the original book. You're probably, if you buy it, you're probably going to end up buying 5 or 6 volumes in one, but only the first one will be discussed on the book club episode. And is there anything else we have to discuss in the Meta Minute here?
I think that's enough.
That's enough for now.
Back to the actual show. We always diss on the MMORPGs as being shit, and people always used to say, "Hey, Raymond Scott, you don't even give these games a chance. You haven't played World of Warcraft," and we've been semi-secretly for a while now playing a whole bunch of MMOs.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we had played, our defense was that we had played MMOs.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
I had played World of Warcraft once for a little bit, and we had always played, MUDs.
Yep. I had played for many years the first MMO, which is still, to this day, and now that I've played a whole bunch of other MMOs, there's no significant difference. In fact, there are some ways that modern MMOs are worse than the original MMO.
Well, let's wait on that, right? Yeah. So... we, but people were like, hey, you haven't actually seriously played all these games, and there are actually surprisingly a lot of MMOs out there, a ton of them. It's like you'd think they cost so much money to run, you got to keep the servers up and the whole thing, right? It's like you think there wouldn't be that many that are active at once, but and that World of Warcraft would obviously that's going to stick around forever or for incredibly, incredibly long time. But you think the other ones, bleh. And the thing is, actually, a lot of them have bleh. There are a lot of MMOs that have just, a professionally produced, published game, not enough people play it, and it shuts down.
Or even then, some of the ones I tried to play, I'd get a demo, just didn't work. I couldn't even get it to go.
There was one that I played, I forget which one it was, but it was free. But basically, the interface on it was so bad that after 10 seconds, it was just Oh, there were 2 that were like that. Dungeon Runners and something else, something Realms, I forget. But basically, they were just, within 30 seconds, they were unplayable. You see, the thing that's really freaked me out, right, is in a way, people were right. It's who are you to talk about MMOs? You're not playing them. And the thing is, I wasn't playing them, and I was complaining that, they're all these grindy games. All you do is click, 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 level up, level up, level up, get to the max level, and then there's not. What do you do, right? And there's not the actual combat is just rock paper scissors BS. It's not actually very good, and it's just a psychological trap, and that whole thing I'm not even going to get into, right? And that's our complaint with MMOs. The thing is, that may or may not be true. I didn't get far enough in any MMO to find out because they were just so bad in these other ways that I did not anticipate. That I didn't even get to the point of grinding.
Except surprisingly, you know, we'll talk about this more. We're gonna do a separate show on like all these MMOs, but people are right. World of Warcraft is the best one. I mean, I got to the grind pretty quick, and I was able to grind efficiently. It's like we both thought the grind would be
surprisingly. I mean, I knew that. That World of Warcraft. Well, I guess I had always said that it's the same as the other ones, only it's polished and actually, it's polished well beyond. So,
but I guess my point is that we both expected like the grind to be the bad part, and the fact that the games were too shitty to even get to the grind, and then WoW's selling point is that it gets you right to the grinding. It was kind of amazing.
Yeah, like every other game that I played so far, and I've still got a few more on the list, I stopped playing because of some other reason. But WoW, I stopped playing because, well, I had to pay money to continue, and more prominently, because it was basically kill 10 skeletons. Now kill 15 skeletons. And I was like, game over. Not killing 15 skeletons. The thing is, I could actually kill the 15 skeletons. It was doable. The controls worked, which is, that is why WoW is the king. I still gonna make fun of WoW. I still don't think it's a good game, but it's better than all the other ones. And if you're gonna play one, despite any problems it may have, if you're not playing WoW, why not? Because the other ones are just horrendous.
Though I did discover something kind of interesting. I was playing EVE Online for a while, trying to get into that.
And people used to make a joke that like EVE Online is just Excel.
I was gonna make that joke. I was about to be like, yeah,
it's more Excel than I thought it was.
Scarily,
like, oh my god,
what I was about to say. I'll pretend you didn't ruin my joke. Okay. Yeah, but then I was at work and someone had installed it on my PC, and then I looked around and actually someone went around my company installing EVE Online on every computer in my office. They called it Excel for some reason, but it's the same game. That's what I was about to say, but you totally ruined it.
That's fine.
It's so true, though. Who the fuck?
I didn't realize how true it was until I really spent like a good 20 minutes.
I blame The Escapist. When we used to read The Escapist, every other story was like the drama of Eve, and reading those, I was like, wow, that must be the best game ever. And then I'd play it, and I see that it's literally just a spreadsheet. It's so nothing.
Yeah, it's like they would always have these stories about like there'd be corporations and intrigue and like traitorousness. And
all
I'm like,
that
I don't
intrigue?
even see any avatars. I see spaceships. How can you have traitorousness if I don't even see the people?
Here's how I would explain it with Eve. It's like
someone would see some numbers go down in the spreadsheet and they'd be like, "Oh my god, traitorousness!" It's like come on, imagine Fortress at least shows you the dwarves.
Imagine if you're playing Monopoly, or no, let's get even worse. You're playing Uno online, right? But you're playing Uno with like 10,000 people. But it's just Uno. It's just Uno. And
draw 4.
And you're all in the same chat room yelling at each other. And you have all this drama that's completely unrelated to the actual game you're playing. That's where all that drama comes from in Eve. It's all this meta clan drama. The game itself has about all the drama of me summing 100 columns and then dividing them by the number of columns.
Right. Anyway, no, so the game that, mostly in this episode, because we're going to have to do more episodes about all these MMOs we're playing, right? But mostly I want to talk about the Turbine engine. Apparently there's an MMO engine out there called the Turbine engine, and apparently a lot of different MMOs use the same exact engine. And 2 games that I played on this engine were Lord of the Rings Online, which came in our PAX goodie bag for free.
Yep. That game wasn't worth playing, to tell you what.
And the recently free-to-play Dungeons & Dragons Online, Eberron, whatever, right? So the Dungeons & Dragons one is free. The Lord of the Rings one is not free. You get a trial, and then you have to pay money. But they're on the same engine, but I think the Lord of the Rings one is on a newer version of the engine, or at least, it seemed like it was a newer version of the engine anyway. I couldn't really, it felt more polished, so I assumed it was newer. But it could, but I mean, it's just basically the 2 games are basically mods on the same engine, the same way Counter-Strike and NS are on the same engine. So anyway, this Turbine engine, I want to talk about it generally first. The user interfaces it has, like all the menus and stuff, are horrendously and needlessly complicated. Like you push like F something to bring up a menu, and it has like a million widgets and buttons and things, and they're not documented at all. And I just couldn't figure out how to do like anything. And like the one thing that I actually wanted to do would have to be hidden, or I couldn't find it, or like I need to manage my inventory. I basically had to stand still, pull up a whole bunch of screens, drag and drop and fiddle and click and fiddle and push buttons.
The only
and then
reason
get them all off the screen again so I could actually see what was going on.
See, none of this got in my way because once I equipped some stuff and it was so tedious to do it all, I never bothered again, even with all the items and stuff I was getting, because you won every raid no matter what. So I didn't even bother equipping the new stuff I was getting.
So the other major problem I have in this engine, right? I mean, I guess, the graphics are fine. I mean, things look like they look, however the people who made the game made it look. It's that the controls are like not good.
Because I played WoW first for a while, and it was like, all right, it controlled the way I expected. I'm walking around, I can zoom the camera in and out, everything's fine. I played D&D Online, and like I could not walk. Like I could not move around. It was so difficult. The camera is like the worst camera in the world.
The worst thing isn't even that, because those are bad. But the worst thing is like trying to pick something up. For example, in D&D Online, I hit a bad guy. He dies. He drops some gold on the ground.
No, he drops some. No. He drops some fucking copper. You don't get gold.
Right. So I have to move the camera so that I can see the copper. Then I have to move the mouse like on just this tiny spot and click to pick up the copper. And it's barely any copper at all. It's not enough to do anything, And I have to keep doing this every time I freaking get a pile of coppers.
See, at least in Lego games, you just walk over it and you get it.
Yeah. So the Lord of the Rings online game was a little bit better in that I was a dwarf and it gave me a quest to like pick berries from 8 bushes. So the bushes were glowing, which helped a lot. It was like, oh, there's a bush. So I walk over to the bush, and then I click on it. And I was actually able to click on the bush because it was kind of big, a lot bigger than a pile of copper pieces on the ground. And it was like, you're not close enough to the bush. So I have to I move my guy like into the bush. And then it's like, now it's hard to click on the bush because my guy's in the way.
It's fiddly like that in general. Like in combat, I'd attack, and it just wouldn't hit the guy because I wasn't facing him perfectly. I'd like back up and like swivel the camera, like swivel into him, and then hit my attack again.
Yeah, it's like, dude, they should just have freaking, like the turn-based combat because this, if you're going to have real-time combat, because the combat is real-time in these games, if you have real-time combat, you need to make it like an action RPG. Make it freaking, River City Ransom. Make it, Kingdom Hearts, where I push the button and I swing and I can use a gamepad and it's just like a beat 'em up. Give me that kind of real-time combat if that's what you want. If you're not going to do that, don't make like this crappy pain in the ass real-time combat with shitty controls. Just go turn-based.
Well, the worst thing is
make it Baldur's Gate where you pause the game.
It's so obvious what they're doing. You look at the interface, it looks exactly like a shitty version of World of Warcraft's interface. The combat is basically identical to WoW, except harder to control, more a pain in the ass, and what you do matters less.
Yep, every single one of these games, a surprising number of games, were just straight up unabashed World of Warcraft clones. And I was like, okay, I guess, if you're out to make money, you see that World of Warcraft works, you're going to just, steal from the non-forgotten masters, that's not a bad move. But you have to do better than them. It's the same thing that we see in like the cell phone industry. People look at the iPhone and they go, that iPhone's doing real well. We should copy that. So what do? They make a touchscreen phone with square icons on the front that misses out on all the actually important things that the iPhone does better. It's like, no, you have to actually be better. You can't just sort of make a shitty copy that's nowhere near as good. You actually need to be better than that. People can tell. They're not stupid. And they're doing the same exact thing. And it's like, really? Yes, really. That's how the world is, I guess. People just copy the thing that's great and don't do a good job of it.
So the worst thing is, we get into the game, it's free, I make my character, and the first thing I notice is that half the classes and races and stuff aren't available to me. And it's like, for $4 you can be a monk. For another $1 you can be a Warforged monk. Hooty-dooty-doo. And like,
yeah, not into that.
Like, it's one thing that they went to the model of make the game free and charge people for in-game stuff, but it's way out of hand. Like, it's worse than Gunbound.
Gunbound's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it was to the point to where I went to the website and to see what I could buy, and it's like, you want a wand of magic missiles? You want a wand of healing? You want a bauble that gives you plus 50% XP for 4 hours after you break it? Any item in the game, anything in the world you could possibly want, you can just buy with money. You can buy extra levels. It's ridiculous.
How much is a level?
I didn't even look. Everything was like $5 to $15 as far as I could tell.
Wow. Wait, $5 for just like a wand of magic missiles?
One class I wanted to buy was $8.
You wanted to buy a class?
As in, I would have played it if it was free. I would have played that class. But the worst thing is, like, I saw people in the game talking about it, and they're like, man, don't buy that class yet. I got it. It's not that powerful. It's not worth the $8. Which is interesting because as far as I can tell...
Are like the stats of the classes made at least public knowledge before you spend your money on them?
I guess. I don't even know. It's just stupid. And the thing is, more powerful doesn't matter because every raid I played, you just won kind of automatically, even on the hard mode.
Even on the hard mode. I know. That was surprising. Like, I thought the hard mode was going to be grueling, but we basically walked in, and it was basically shitty Gauntlet. Shitty 3D Gauntlet.
Yep, I mean, I play a fight like a paladin, straight up. I'm an elven paladin. Literally, I stand there. The enemies all come at me, and I'm just like, sword, other sword, sword, other sword, sword, other sword, sword, other sword, and they all just die in one hit.
Yeah, I was actually a wizard. I wanted to actually try to do something tricky, you know, because if you're a fighter, all you do is stand there, hold down the attack button, and don't do anything. And I was like, why even bother? So I was a wizard. So you know what I did? I stood far away. I kind of moved the camera to keep the bad guys on screen, and I kept pushing the magic missile button over and over again, and the magic missiles hit the bad guys.
It's so bad. Like, it drops you in a dungeon.
And then if the bad guys got close to me, what did I do? Even though I'm a wizard, I held down the regular melee attack button.
And it killed him just the same as my sword, as far as I could tell.
Yep. And
but
I didn't die.
It's like it drops you into whatever quest, and it's like, the evil lord of the forgotten land, plot, 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 plot. You hear the creaking of ancient bones in the distance. And then it drops you into the thing, and it's literally like, walk by, there are 1,000 identical sarcophagi. If you smash them...
I know, that's right. If you're going to make like a scary, you know, dungeon instance kind of thing, why don't you actually like sort of, you know, design some interesting levels? These were like, it looked like someone was using the, you know, like the Mage Master, whatever they're called, you know, D&D thingies.
Like you walk around.
Putting together the same map with the same, different maps with the same pieces.
There's like 1,000 barrels in the storehouse. Everyone you smash has like 2 copper pieces that come out that you have to click on to pick up.
Yeah.
So we play a bunch and we fight.
It's not even a tedious grind. It's like a tedious clean up the level. I mean, Lego Star Wars is better than this because at least Lego Star Wars is sort of, you know, easier and you can just walk over the golds to pick them up, you know.
So the worst thing is, Scott, you know, we both played on our own for a while, and I keep saying the worst thing because they keep getting worse. And it has this kind of initial, you know, here's how the game starts, introduce some characters, get you to a town. And at the end of the quest, it drops you in the world, and you get the choice of, like, a fire sword. Like, basically, you get a weapon on fire. So then you go into the town where everybody starts, the beginner town.
And everyone has a sword on fire.
Literally, there are just, like, hundreds of people wearing various amounts of, like, newbie rags, carrying flaming swords, running around, not interacting in any way, clipping through each other.
Yeah, so this is one thing that I didn't quite grasp until I started playing a bunch of these, is that the MMOs are not massive at all. Like, they are in no way massive. All they are, even World of Warcraft, even though slightly less so than the others, right? What they do is it's actually just no different than, say, Counter-Strike, right? You have a game lobby where people sort of, you know, chat while they're waiting to get into a game. And when you get into a game, it's just a game that's not massive. You know, you go to an instance, and even you might go to an instance with 30 guys. You know, if it's a big, you know, I know World of Warcraft has big instances where you bring in a lot of people, but it's not massive. You know, I mean, you could play a game of Tribes 2 that's 40 on 40 or 50 on 50, and that's more massive than that. And Tribes 2 doesn't claim to be a massive game. So the only massive parts are the lobbies. And you know what? In any other game online, sure, the chat lobby probably has like thousands of people in it.
The thing is, in D&D Online, at least, the ways to interact with people you run into are so minimal and unusable.
You can chat with them, you can trade with them,
but
and
even
you can stab them.
The
but
chatting...
you can't even trade with them because half your items, all your good ones anyway, are stuck to you, and you can't possibly give them to anyone else because they're bound to only your character and no other character.
Well, even worse. I keep saying worse. You try to like interact with people, and you get this tiny little chat box, and you can't read anything that's going on in it. And even if you talk at people, no one ever responds. It's basically
the only people you can really talk to are the people that you friend or in your clan, which is like, why does it even matter if these other people are here or not?
Yeah, it doesn't at all. You don't interact with these people in any way. You go into like the inn expecting some flavor.
They're just decorations in the town.
I went into the inn to see, the thing I used to do a lot in old MMOs was like hang out in places with cool people and talk.
In MUDs, I would do that all the time. Even in tiny MUDs, you could go to like a tavern, sit down, have a drink, sit in a chair, talk to the bartender. He would say funny things.
I walk into the inn.
People would come in, sit down, have a drink, and talk to you. You could play like cards while you talked about, in character kind of stuff.
I go into the inn in D&D Online, and there are literally like 100 newbies in newbie rags with flaming swords jumping up and down on the tables and behind the bar. You can't sit down. You can't do anything special. It's just a room with idiot shit-cocking newbies jumping up and down with flaming swords.
Like, and 90% of the people are just basically crowding around the bartender who gives you quests. And he's saying the same exact thing. He's not moving. He's saying the same exact thing to everyone. He's not even really an NPC. He's basically just a button you click on to get a quest.
He's like those dispensers in BioShock.
Yeah, basically, he's a circus of value. That's what he is. Right?
But it's so ludicrous and laughable that the situations I ran into playing this game were on the level of what I would say about like if I was making fun of an MMO that didn't exist, like if I was parodying how bad an MMO could be. But
so it's like all I have to do to make a game an MMO and get people to pay a monthly fee for it and pay real money for it instead of just making my game a one-time fee game is instead of the chat team, matchup lobby being a chat room, I make it like a place with 3D avatar chat room, and suddenly I can charge money for it. Holy crap. What is Yahoo doing with their backgammon? There's like thousands of people playing Yahoo backgammon at any one moment. If they just made the matchup chat lobby have avatars.
Nope, they have to do one thing further. You have to level up. Yeah, I'm level 8. I get to roll 3 dice.
They have leveling in backgammon on Yahoo. You start off with like some number of points, and when you lose points, and when you win, you get points.
No, I'm talking about leveling in the bunging style of I'm level 80. I roll 3d6.
3d6 in backgammon.
I get flaming sword.
In backgammon?
Yeah, in backgammon.
You're playing hearts. You're just like, yeah, I can throw out any heart I want.
No, I'm playing hearts. I'm like Siobhan Dragon. Yeah, follow that suit, bitches. That's basically what's going on, though. So the worst part.
It's like at least I was bashing the MMOs for the grindy parts. I didn't realize there were all these other horrible parts to them. And the thing is, World of Warcraft, to its credit, does not have half of these horrible other things. But it does have the other half.
In D&D Online, we both leveled up a bit and tried to like play on our own. And after I failed to have no one I talked to in that game who was a real PC passed the Turing test. They did not pass the Turing test. I was not convinced they were real people. So finally, Scott and I were like, all right, let's play on the same realm. And we made sure we're in the same realm. And I'm like, I'm hanging out by the docks. Come find me. We'll interact.
I forgot about that.
We'll form a party, and we'll go kick some ass multiplayer. So I'm standing on the docks, and Scott has to make an all-new character because it won't let him join my realm. He can't transfer his character. So he makes a character.
Or at least I couldn't figure out how.
And goes through the bullshit starter quest again that you can't die in, literally. The priest is like, I cast a spell on you that makes you immune to death until you leave this dungeon. It's like, great.
Why did you cast that on everyone? And then let's just, sort of walk through here lazily.
Why don't I just learn that spell?
Yeah, right? Anyway.
So I'm by the docks, and Scott's like, I'm here, where are you? And I'm like, I'm here, where are you? I'm the elf in the chainmail with the flaming sword, jumping up and down on the barrel next to the other elf with the flaming sword.
I'm next to NPC so-and-so, jumping up and down.
I'm next to NPC so-and-so. I'm jumping up and down. You sure we're at the same dock? So
I don't see you.
Fast forward 20 fucking minutes later.
Was it really 20 minutes? It might have been more like 15.
Because I like logged out and logged back in to make sure we were in the same realm.
We were definitely in the same realm.
I went around looking for like another dock because I thought you were stupid. I thought you were like at some other dock that I didn't know about, like way off somewhere. So I was like, this is bullshit. Scott's an idiot. Blah, blah. Finally, in the upper left-hand corner, if you click on something, it's like, which instance of this town are you in? And there are 3. And
so not only is the game not actually massive, and the only massive part is a chat lobby that happens to be 3D with avatars, right? But that chat lobby isn't even that massive because there's multiples of the same exact town, and there's basically 10 copies of the same town, and you pick which of the 10 copies of the town that you're in. Seriously? I mean,
never mind, you have to pay for D&D Online is unplayable. At least
there's a reason it's free, all right?
At least Gunbound was fun as a game.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I could bunge people. That's more than I can say. And the clipping, like the game, it lets you jump, but it doesn't let you jump on anything, because if you jump on something, either it has no effect on the game, or they don't actually let you jump on it because it would break the game.
Yeah, it's like, why even give the ability to jump if there is no platforming aspect to this game whatsoever?
I mean, I would jump and I'd see like a low fence and I couldn't jump over it.
Yeah, also, if the game, it's like you look at the way the game mechanics are, right? And the way, it's sort of like this sort of real time but poor kind of, thing. It's sort of like, well, why are you limiting me in these ways for no reason? Like, for example, like, when you play Hero Quest, right? We sort of realized, like, why bother rolling the dice to walk around?
Well, that was the day when we're playing Hero Quest and Alex was the game master, and he was beating us a little bit, partly because the first time we played, Scott ran around opening all the doors so the Chaos Knights came out en masse.
It's more fun that way.
So then we're like, let's play again. And Alex is like, all right. And we're going to open a door, and then I turn to Alex and I'm like, we stand here and take no action until all of us roll 6 for our movement in the same round.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, fuck.
So it's like
took 20.
His choices were either A, force us to go with our first rolls, right? B, force us to actually keep rolling until we got what we wanted.
Which I was totally willing to do.
Yeah, which is technically, I think, what is required by the rules. Or B, give in and allow us to proceed, which, of course, also ruined the game, but in a different way.
But D&D Online comes pre-ruined.
That's true.
There was no, at any point, an element of gameplay. You couldn't even say, like, wow, you can at least explore the landscape because there's stuff out there, and while you can't really...
There was some stuff out there.
While you can't...
Plus, WoW, to its credit, the number one thing... of all the comparisons to make between WoW and the other MMOs, WoW had colors. WoW was really colorful and had way better art than any of these. I mean, the Lord of the Rings one was basically, it had some colors, but it wasn't great. And
D&D Online is just gray.
Brown.
It's gray and brown.
You might as well had a brown and gray screen, and that's it.
Except for the flaming swords.
And the high-level characters had colors. Like the ones that, the NPCs in the noob quest, that, basically the tutorial quest, they had colors. But there were no other colors in the game whatsoever. It was just brown and gray. And it's like, wow, World of Warcraft has lots of colors. It's at least fun to look at, But
D&D Online is so shit, but there's so many people playing it. And I think it just proves that punk kids, if something's free, will do it.
Well, no, it's not just that it's free that they'll do it. It's free, and it has this psychological thing where they're leveling up in the whole business, right? And they have plenty of free time on their hands and nothing to do, and they are bored out of their mind.
Yeah, some guy came up to me. He was like level 18, and he was like, I want to grind the blah, blah, blah quest on expert mode a bunch of times today. Who's with me? Mm-hmm. And I was like... I'm level 7. And he's like, that's fine. I power level you, you blah, blah, blah. And as far as I can tell, that dude was sitting there all day playing the same quest over and over again. The quest, by the way, consisted of...
holding down a button and walking
No,
folk.
This was the one quest we did where literally you walk into one room and then these specters just keep coming out of the walls until you kill them all.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna do some power leveling, that's a good one to do.
I could have beaten that one with the drinking bird.
Oh man, drinking bird games.
We should just make
that's like the can of Coke that plays Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my! No, to be fair, that can of Coke.
Vanilla Coke.
Yeah, while it won the tournament, it was vanilla Coke. I mean, I couldn't even beat that.
I don't think did it actually win the tournament.
It came in second place, I recall, or something like that.
Just so people know, right? To prove Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game, right? To prove that this game, like, you know, in Magic the Gathering, if I just take some Magic the Gathering cards and I get the best cards in the world, right? The most expensive best cards, and I play, but I have no clue what I'm doing, I could lose. You know, I might not play any land at all. I might just go, you know, and lose. In Yu-Gi-Oh, right? They basically proved that it only matters what cards you have. The decisions you make in the game don't mean anything.
Yep,
right?
There's our friend Luke, and they were at Millennium for a tournament, so they got the store to provide basically all the absolute best, most expensive cards. They made the best deck you can make, and they gave the 20-ounce bottle of vanilla Coke. The rule that every round it would draw a card and play the card it drew, and that was it.
Yep. So, I mean, they had the best Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the world because the store, it's a game store. They have every Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? So every turn it drew a card and played it. And it had the best cards in the world. It just won. And it was a can of Coke. Yeah,
vanilla Coke.
Vanilla Coke beat a whole bunch of people at Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if it won, but it beat a whole bunch of people at Yu-Gi-Oh!
I have to imagine
D&D Online is the same thing. You have a drinking bird that just pecks at your attack button. And if you're on that quest with the ghosts, you're going to win.
I don't even know, like, I want to make fun of the game, but it's so literally...
What game? What game are you making fun of?
A bunch of identical gray characters with flaming swords jumping up and down in the inn, yelling at each other about... I don't even know what they're yelling. They're just typing gibberish. The talking in that game is on the level of a YouTube comment. There's nothing there.
I have a prediction, though. I have a prediction here, and I want to sort of, you know, get people off our backs preemptively, right? People are going to say... You were just playing the beginning part of the game where the nubs are. If you go to, and they're going to say this for all the MMOs, not just D&D Online, right? If you level up and you go to the later parts of the game where the better content is, right? It's not like that. There's good stuff elsewhere in the game. You just didn't get there yet, you know? So the game isn't crap. There's good stuff. It's just not where you were. You didn't go to the good stuff.
Well, there's one way around that in D&D Online. You can just buy your way to the quote-unquote good part if there is one.
With real money? Yeah, sorry, no.
But that's it. With real money, you can just buy all the levels you want, buy the class you want, and you're good to go.
Now, if I could just pick my level for free, that would be okay. But paying real money, not okay. But
the thing is,
Warcraft, right? People make the same argument. They're like, someone told me, like, yeah, they haven't, you know, that content, you know, at the you know, the noob content basically hasn't changed ever.
That's at least
like, they're like all the new content is like, you know, in the end of the game.
There is a valid argument for WoW that at least there is evidence that the content in the later game is probably objectively better because it's much newer and they haven't revamped the beginning of the game.
Yep,
but
that is possible. However,
well, let's just talk about D&D Online. D&D Online, the beginning content is not that much older than whatever new content they have, if there even is new content. There is no indication at all that the game is in any way different at any point in the game ever.
That's true. The thing is, regardless of whether the content that is later in the game is good or not, you know, if the content at the beginning of the game is bad, right, then the game is bad. I mean, if you're playing Mario 1, right, and basically the only good levels in Mario 1 is World 8 and Worlds 1 through 7 are shit, or even if Worlds 1 through 4 are bad and Worlds 5 through 8 are good, is it worth suffering Worlds 1 through 4 just to play Worlds 5 through 8 when there are other games that exist where Worlds 1 through 8 are all good? Why would I ever play the game that is half bad or has a bad part in the beginning or has any badness that requires me to suffer through it whatsoever, even if it was just World 1-1 was bad and the rest was good?
At least with WoW.
Why would I suffer when I can just play, I don't know, new Super Mario Brothers Wii that's coming out this week, where the whole thing is probably going to be kind of fun?
At least with WoW in the early content, there's a lot more to be said. Like we can actually review it because there is a game that happens. But
yes, it is far better than the other MMOs.
But D&D Online,
still bad.
No, I'm saying D&D Online. There's like
nothing.
It's kind of like when they were trying in Penny Arcade to make fun of Doom 3, and Doom 3 had like the upside down flaming skull, and it's like, what do you say about that?
Yeah, it's like if I was gonna score these games on a score of 0 to 10, right? It's like the D&D Online would get a 0 because it's just poop all the way through. And the World of Warcraft would get like a 3 or a 3.5. You know, it's like it's still not good, but you know, it's pretty much the best of all the MMOs. Yeah, and if you were ranking only MMOs, so the best MMO in the world was 10, and the worst MMO in the world was 0, World of Warcraft would be 10, and all these other things would be 0. Well, I guess even then, D&D Online wouldn't be 0 because I was actually able to complete some quests.
Yes,
like dungeon runners would be 0 because it was absolutely unplayable.
And it's not, it can't be 0 because I was able to log into it, and that's already more than many of the games I tried to play.
That's true.
The thing is, it's all okay because there'll be a constant stream of MMOs. I mean, actually, there's a sequel to EVE Online coming that might be good.
Are they going to get rid of EVE Online and go with the sequel only?
No, Microsoft's making it. It's called Office 2010.
Nice one.
It's all moot. One of my coworkers totally, I'm not even kidding, took the day after Left 4 Dead comes out off work to play it all day with his friends.
We thought about doing that for Team Fortress 2. Good thing we did not.
Oh my, if I had done that for Team Fortress 2, I would have been the saddest panda that had ever...
Especially since it didn't come out like most of the day.
I know. You have to take the next day off. Left 4 Dead 2 might have been worth it. NS is definitely going to be worth it. The day that game comes out, I'm not going to work.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because this is my last hope. I waited like a decade for Team Fortress 2, and it fucked me. NS is the last thing I got. And if it fails...
It'll come out on a weekend. We won't have to take day
If NS2 fails, like, basically, we'll make the NS1 mod. And if that fails, we'll just play NS1 forever. We'll be the worst gaming podcast ever. Like the year 2040. We'll look, yep, I was playing some NS1 today.
Yep.
Maybe we'll start even going more retro. We'll be playing like NS1 version 1 point whatever with babblers instead of 3.2.
You know, well, you like the babblers. It's not actually good.
They weren't good. More than once, I killed myself or my own hive with those things. They were so broken.
More than once, most of the time, I used a babbler.
If you dropped a babbler,
as opposed to an enemy.
If you were like running forward too quickly and you threw a babbler, it just sat in you and ate you.
Yep.
Oh, those were good times.
We should put the babblers in the MMOs. And I don't mean like you're in the MMO, you're playing the game, and you click a button and babblers come out. I mean like, you know, we take babblers and we put them in the offices of all the people who make the MMOs. Because they deserve it.
I think we're done here.
Yes.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via audio. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.